Are you a South Carolina resident who is a former POW, Medal of Honor recipient, or more than likely a 100% permanently and totally disabled veteran, or a surviving spouse of one of those veterans? If so, you are entitled to a property tax exemption for either your home or your vehicles or both. And I'm going to walk you through the simplest method to apply for those benefits. And to make it easier, I'll have the links and websites and forums in the video description below. So let's get to it. All right, step one, and this is real important. It trips up a lot of veterans and their families. You must be recognized by South Carolina as a legal resident. Many of us moved here from other states, and when we purchased our house, we may have forgotten a conversation we had with our realtor or at the closing that you have to apply for state legal residency through your county assessor's office. So if you didn't follow up with them with a copy of your driver's license, your vehicle registration, your marriage certificate, and maybe some utility bills, whatever your county requires, then you may still be paying a property tax at a slightly higher rate on your dwelling. So that's the most important thing. Make sure, check with your assessor's office that you are at the 4% rate, or if you can get a copy of the 4% letter. That's slang for the state legal residence application. So make sure you got that first, otherwise you can't continue to apply for the tax exemption. Next step, let's go about gathering all the documents that we're going to need to support the application. And I'll give you the sources and locations and methods to gather some of these if you don't have them on you right now. So for your home, for your dwelling, assuming your dwelling is your primary residence in South Carolina, you're going to need a few things. Starting off, you can get a certificate from your county VSO, or you can get it from va.gov, or you can call up the VA at 1-800-827-1000 and request a benefits summary letter. The purpose of these letters is to indicate in writing that you are 100% service-connected permanently and totally, and the effective date that you became permanent and total. Those elements have to be on that letter. Once you have that, the next thing you'll need is a recorded deed. If you don't have a paper copy of your deed, a lot of times you can go to your assessor's websites, and they're all a little bit different, but if you go to the assessor's website, there's normally a link to search a property by your owner's name, your name, or by an address or tax map ID, and there's a link to a PDF document or a scanned deed there. That's how I get some on behalf of my clients. So you need the recorded deed. Next up is that 4% letter we talked about, that proof of legal residence in South Carolina. I even know some clients who were born and raised and were always residents of South Carolina and just were not aware of this requirement. So this is the number one reason why a lot of applications get kicked back, is that state residency requirement. If your home is titled jointly with a spouse, you're going to want a copy of your marriage certificate. And if you live in a mobile home, what they'll need is a title, bond for title, or bill of sale for a mobile home. Now, if you occupy your property as the beneficiary of a trust, then beside all the other documents we just mentioned, you have to have a signed copy of the trust agreement, and you have to have a 4% letter naming you the beneficiary as a legal resident. So those documents are required for the tax exemption for your property, your real property, your dwelling. Let's talk about vehicles next. All right, it's important to remember that for your vehicles, they must first be registered in South Carolina with the DMV before you can apply for the tax exemption. We sometimes get people who move here from different states and they try to go out of sequence and get the tax exemption first. You can't do that. You've got to go through the vehicle registration. If there's anything to be paid for your taxes, you'll get that prorated later on. You'll get that money back, but you have to go through that step first. All right, in addition to all the other documents you already have, you only need a few more for your vehicles. So once you have your vehicle registered, use that South Carolina vehicle registration card, or South Carolina bill of sale, or South Carolina issued title. And remember, if you're a permanent totally disabled veteran, you are eligible to register 2 vehicles and get them both property tax exempted. If you're a surviving spouse, you can go with 1 vehicle. Speaking of spouses, for veterans who are 100% P&T, If their spouse's name is on the title or connected with that vehicle, then you need to have a copy of the marriage certificate. So remember, you don't have to duplicate anything. If you already have most of these documents, we're really just adding on the South Carolina vehicle registration card 9 times out of 10, and you can handle both your real estate and your vehicles all in one application. Okay, now for the fun part, we actually put it all together and apply for the benefit. And you have 3 options. The recommended way to apply, the first option is online on the SCDOR website. I have the link in the description below. The second, which is the more traditional method, the paper form, is done on the PT 401 form, and we'll walk through that on this video because that form shows you all the questions that you'll have to answer on paper or online. And finally, if you want to have assistance in person, SCDOR has taxpayer service centers around the state, and we have one in Rock Hill, and that address and contact information is also in the link below. All right, here you can see the form PT 401. This is the original method that people use to apply for the tax exemption. It's still valid. Starting with Section A, exemption year. Now right here, you would put in the year that you were made permanent in total. So when you got your decision letter and they said the effective date was any time during that year, then you would put that year in that Section 1 right there. Property type, most people are doing both, but you may only have a vehicle. For example, you may be renting in South Carolina, but you own a vehicle. So select either or, real property, personal property, or both. Here, if you're a surviving spouse, you click that button in Section 3. I'm sorry, Block 3. For a home, B1A is your selection, and for a vehicle, B3 is your normal selection. Section B, general information. This will be your name, your social security number, date of birth, phone, email, street address, all the normal contact information. For Block 5, obviously, if you're a surviving spouse, then you would put your deceased spouse information, the veteran's information here. Section C, real property. Remember, real property, think real estate. You're most likely going to be clicking on land and building if you have a home. But if you have something else like a mobile home, land and mobile home or building, those buttons are available. You put down your property date acquired, the tax number, tax map number, and number of acres. And this information right here can be found on your deed. It's somewhere on the deed itself or stamped in the corner of the deed. Unique to mobile homes are a mobile home tax number, mobile home year and make, and all that information on the right-hand side here. Further down, for Block 8, explain the use of the property, land, and buildings. Primary dwelling. You may own more than one property, but if you're spending 50% or more of your time, if you consider your address in South Carolina as your home, then that would be your primary dwelling. Do any other individuals, associations, or corporations occupy or use any of this property? Typically, it would be no. If not, you have to explain that. Do you receive any rent for this property? Yes or no. And do you lease or rent this property? Yes or no. Pretty self-explanatory. All right, Section D for real property. You're going to need your VIN number for your vehicle. If you have up to 2 vehicles, you have 2 lines here. The online version is the same exact way as this. You just enter it for each vehicle and it kind of displays the same. So vehicle identification number, type, make, and year, registered owner, and county of registration. All of this is right on your vehicle registration card, so it's really just a matter of taking your time and getting the VIN number correct. That's probably where you'd make a mistake if you were going to make one. Now, a note about personal property or vehicles. Over time, you're probably going to sell or donate or acquire a new vehicle. Your vehicle loadout, if you will, is going to switch up. And when that does occur, you can use this form, or you can go online and just go straight to this section and update it as appropriate. So if you're a veteran who has 2 vehicles already tax exempted, and 4 years from now you sell a vehicle and then you buy a new one, you're going to have to take a vehicle off of Section 12 and add that new, add the new vehicle on 12 and take away a vehicle from 13. So that way you don't lose a tax exemption as it drives off the lot because you forgot to do that change. So after that, Section E, you just sign. Signature date makes sense here. The difference with the online version is that you don't sign it, you enter your email address, and then they send you a verification code to your phone to kind of do a 2-factor authentication. And once you're done with this form here, you attach all those documents that you've already collected. And where is it? Should have the mailing address here. Yep, there's your mailing address. If you're not going online, you're going to mail it to SCDOR, the Government Services Division, P.O. Box 125, Columbia, South Carolina, 29214-0720. And again, this information will be in the video description for you. So that's the paper copy, and when you mail it in with those documents, the copies, you can expect about 6 to 8 weeks before SCDOR responds and grants you your tax exemption letter. And then that letter is something you'll take back to your assessor's office and your auditor and get your money back for any registration fees that you paid because you had to pay on time. Okay, we walked through a lot of stuff there. Remember the most important thing, whether you lived here a while or you're new to South Carolina, establish legal residency first. Second, gather up all your documents. And third, pick a method that you want to use to apply. Remember, you have different ways to do this. You can do it online, you can mail in the paper form, or you can go to a tax service center and they'll be glad to help you there. Remember, a lot of these things are captured in the video description. I'll have the links and the forms and all the instructions there as well as a resource. Take care.